Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to the Sister Station podcast for our fourth and final episode of this first season with your host, me, Mu'mina Koleosho, joined by another lovely guest, my friend, Awele Nwachukwu. Awele is a Nigerian qualified pharmacist living in Scotland with a postgraduate diploma in dermatology. She's passionate about healthcare, skincare, and helping people feel confident both inside and out, and you can find her on LinkedIn. We discuss our instant noodle bond formed through our local swimming club, living in the same neighbourhood, and shared experiences growing up as firstborn daughters in our respective Nigerian households. Expect honest convos, a little laughter, and some food for thought. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. Thank you, Awele, for coming onto the podcast. And if we can start with you introducing yourself, telling us what your name means, and a bit about your background, what you do, etc.
Thank you, Awele, for having me. As I'm going to say, my name is Awele Nwachukwu. I'm 23 years old. My name, I actually got my first name from my grandfather on my mom's side. So that's like a thing. I'm Nigerian, I'm Igbo, and this is like a thing in our culture where our parents name our children. That's kind of interesting, especially the first name. I feel like that's a big deal. But it's really beautiful. Actually, I used to really not like my name growing up because I thought it was a bit complicated. You couldn't say it right. Like a lot of people call me Awele, and I'm just gonna let it slide now. But my name's actually really beautiful, and I've really grown to like it. It means Awele means good luck, like good luck from God. And my middle name Ijoma, like together is like a saying called Iji Awele, and that basically means safe journey, like good journey ahead. So that's a bit about my name. And then Nwachukwu, Chukwu is God, and then Nwa is like child, so like child of God. So that's where my name comes from. Actually, a funny story. On my birth certificate, my middle name's actually my first name. I don't think I've told you this.
Oh, no, this is news
Yeah,
to me.
yeah, my middle name is my first name. So back then, everyone used to call me Ijoma, Ijoma. It's only when I moved abroad that everyone started calling me Awele, and we just kind of ran with it. So what I mean
Interesting.
by that is, so I'm Nigerian. I was born in Nigeria in Owerri. But when I was like around 5 years old, my dad got a job in Ireland, so we ended up moving to Ireland, and we stayed there for like a few years. Apparently, like we stayed in Dublin first, and then we moved to Cork. So I only found that out recently. And even in Dublin, actually, to be fair, people used to call me Ijoma because that was typically easier. I don't know when we switched to Awele, but yeah, we just ran with it ever since. And then, so I'm the oldest out of three little sisters. I'm the adult of my household. And then after we stayed in Ireland for like a few years, we moved to Scotland, where I'm based now. And yeah, there's four of us, all girls, my poor dad. And right now, yeah, I'm 23 and working as a pharmacist. And yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Awesome, thanks. And I honestly think it's really sweet, how you reclaimed your name over time, because I feel like so
Yeah.
many of us, from immigrant households and, growing up with a mix of cultures, so a mix of back home and, where we end up settling here in the UK and like trying to navigate fitting into society. And I feel like so many of us have gone through the phases of A, not liking our names, and then B, trying to anglicize it and stuff, like
Hmm.
trying to change it so that people can pronounce it better. So I remember before, whenever I would introduce myself, I'd introduce myself as, oh, my name is Mamina Kolioso, and I might drop down a nickname or something that people can call me. I'll be like, oh, maybe you can call me Mina or Nina for short if that's easier. But now me, I'm not shrinking down my name for anybody. My
As
name is
in,
Mumina Koleosho. If you can't pronounce it, now what
not
for
for
you like?
you. Look, and the thing is, when I came here, I felt like these Scottish names were harder to pronounce than my own names. Like, let me tell you about the name Siobhan, because when I saw that name written down, I did not think it was pronounced Siobhan. Like,
Me
some
neither. I
of
think I
these,
said Shoben.
literally, some of these Oyibo people's names are harder than us, so I don't know why they start forming somehow when it comes to our name. And I
No,
think the thing is
literally.
as well, I was so angry at my parents. I was like, for the longest time, I was like, why did you guys not give me at least one English name? This is like two Igbo names. But yeah, though I love my name. And when you know the meaning, like that's the thing I love about like Nigerians and even Africans in general, like there's always meaning behind our names.
No, 100%. And that's why I really enjoy asking people what their name means. I don't always remember when I'm meeting people, especially maybe if they have a name that I'm already aware of. So if I meet somebody who has a name of somebody that I already know, I might forget. But even then, I do try and make a conscious effort to ask people like, oh, what does your name mean? Because it's just so interesting, to understand that aspect of their culture and even personality. Because in a way, you in a lot of cultures, naming is like you name your child something good that you want them to be. And so understanding somebody's name, I feel, can reveal something about them as well, even before either of us are aware of it. It's just very beautiful and interesting.
I know, I'll definitely take that tip because I don't really ask people what the meaning of their name are. So that's really, I like that question. It's a unique question. It's a good conversation starter as well.
Honestly. But I would lie, sometimes it can be awkward because sometimes I like to preface, or I like to give people a chance to be like, do you know what your name means? Like, the reason why I ask is because some people don't know. And so sometimes I do feel bad the occasional time that I put somebody on the spot and they're like, oh no, actually, maybe they'll have a story. So practically everybody has a story behind their name, even if they don't necessarily know what it means. So they might say, oh, my mum named me this because she liked, the sound of it, or she met someone with that name who she admired, so she called me that name, but I actually don't know what it means and stuff like that. So actually, I think maybe I should just change the question slightly, and I should ask people, what's the story behind your name, as opposed to just the meaning, because it's part and parcel. The story reveals some of the meaning, the intention behind it.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I love it.
Sometimes I forget, and this has happened multiple times, kind of following on from what I said about when I meet people, I don't always remember to ask their name. The other thing that happens is once I've known somebody for a while, sometimes I forget how we met because now you're just a part of my life.
No,
and I don't remember the era before we knew each other. So yeah, just for the sake of our audience, can you go into the story of, how we met and how we came to be friends?
Definitely. No, I'm the same as you. Literally, I have this thing where I feel like we've just been friends forever. Like, it just makes sense. Like, I don't remember the pinpoint, but specifically when I think about how we met, I remember it being related to our swimming lessons. I think one day I just met you. I just saw this other black girl, like, getting ready for swimming lessons in the changing room. And I was just like, hey, who are you? I don't know. I think specifically like this. And then our parents also were talking to each other. And then we realized we were also living in the same neighborhood. And then we just had a lot of common interest as well. Like, you like anime, I like anime. You're Nigerian, I'm Nigerian. We're both doing swimming. So it just kind of hit since then. When was that though? I think it was like maybe like S1, S2. Yeah.
Yeah, I
S1,
think
S2
so.
of high school. So like
I think
2013.
yeah, I think it was around that time that we were probably about maybe 13, 14. The other thing, as you were saying this story, I had to I had to hold back laughter because to me it sounds very normal, because a lot of friendships I have started because me and the other person, we just see that like, oh, we're like the only black girls in this room, or we're the only people of color. And so it's like an instant noodle bond, just from clocking that. But then when I think about it in like the context of sort of like, Oyibo people, and like that sort of out with that context, sometimes I look at it objectively and I think that how can anyone sort of relate to this? Like it's hard to explain because to us it's so natural.
It's so natural. I don't know. I just instantly feel like my sister. Like,
honestly.
So I don't know. Do you have a different version of how we met, or is that similar to what you think?
Honestly, that is that's pretty close. I think the other thing I've found is that for the sake of the podcast as well, I felt that I would introduce people and explain how we met to give context. But then I realized actually it's interesting to hear the other person's perspective as well, because, sometimes it really shows how like we can experience the same thing differently. So it's been quite revealing. But honestly, yeah, like the way you said it is, I honestly wouldn't really have described it that differently. I think the only other thing I usually add is the fact that we literally lived in the same neighborhood and we were a couple of streets away from each other. So this was when we both used to live in Glasgow. So that was another thing that we had in common, like our area code essentially. So yeah.
Back in the day when you can just walk up, tap on the door, like, oh, I'm coming out.
No, literally.
Now we need to book like 5 or even like 2 months in advance.
No, literally, it'll be like 2 business months from now. How does your schedule
Yeah,
look?
literally.
Because even like alhamdulillah that things worked out well in terms of getting this podcast together, as in like organizing a time to record. Because with other people, even just to have them reply to the first message I sent to be like, hey, would you be interested in being on my podcast? Crickets. But honestly, like this is not this is not to out anybody, because my reply speed as well is not always the best. But yeah, everybody's so busy. We're all living life.
We're just at that stage now. But yeah, I'm honored to be on the podcast. This is so cool. Like when you told me that you're doing a podcast, I was like, wait, what? Like, how are you this cool? And then you invited me. I'm so honored. Yeah. I hope
Thank you.
I'll do justice.
No, honestly, me too. Anytime I tell people I'm doing a podcast, there's a voice in my head that also says, really? We're actually doing this thing? Like it's not just a pipe dream, like this is an action plan. We don't upgrade.
We don't upgrade though.
Kind of going back to what you do now, can you talk a little bit about your experience with pharmacy and your career?
Okay. So pharmacy. So growing up, my parents are both from a healthcare background, so I was naturally already interested in like sciences and things. But I think what stood out about pharmacy to me was the work-life balance, kind of like some pharmacists probably listen to this like where, but really there is good work-life balance with pharmacy, especially as a woman. Like I spoke to a lot of pharmacists when I was on my placements, and they were saying how like they can reduce the hours, it's flexible, you can work as a locum. So yeah, it's really this like good work-life balance. I feel like for me, pharmacy is a good mixture of, especially when I'm working in community pharmacy. So I get to that patient interaction. Like we're the first protocol of health when like you can come to a pharmacist and see them without making an appointment. We see early symptoms first. So you really get that patient contact with people. But it's also like if you have that clinical side of it as well. And it only takes 4 years in uni and you get an integrated master's with it. It's not like medicine, which I was also highly contemplating, but that's like a way more longer process than what I wanted. Because me, I don't like studying, contrary to what you see. I don't like studying like in high school. I was like, I feel like for my national fives, which is the first exam we sit in Scotland as high school students, I went all out for my national five, so I was burnt out by the time I reached my hires. And then my advanced hires, I did really bad in my advanced hires. I didn't even think I was going to get into uni. So I always had like this sort of imposter syndrome. I never thought I was good enough or smart enough for even getting a degree. So when I graduated, I was so shook, guys. Like I was so proud of myself. I'm like, who is this? Like younger me would be so proud. But it's so funny because saying all this, I was applying to medicine, and it was only last minute that I decided, okay, no, I'm not doing medicine. I'm going to apply to pharmacy. And there's literally only 2 universities in Scotland that do pharmacy. So I had like a few extra spaces because we have like 5 slots. So randomly, I applied to accounting. Ask me why. That's
Sorry.
so random.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Please pause right there. Accounting for where?
I still have no idea, because at the end of the day, I was like, there's nothing else I want to do except pharmacy. So what's another good career that I could make money from? I just like, oh, I put accounting.
Well, I swear that's the most Igbo thing I've ever heard you say in my life.
The funny thing is, though, my personal statement was just pharmacy, but I actually got into the accounting unis with just my pharmacy
You're
personal statement.
joking.
Yeah, it's so funny. So that's little me. Like I literally got accepted to Robert Gordon University. That's where I studied in Aberdeen. My first day there was like my first time in Aberdeen, my first time visiting the university, because it was very impulsive, guys. The switch. I was just like, nope, I'm just gonna do pharmacy. I actually really did not know anything about pharmacy, to be honest, when I was studying it at first. I feel like I low-key gaslit myself into it, but I actually do. I love my job. It's so rewarding. And it's very like high in demand. Like I said, you're dealing with unwell people. A lot of the times they're coming to see you because they're not feeling well. So that has its challenges as well, but it's very rewarding, like especially when you help someone and they just come back and tell you how much impact you've had in their health. I wouldn't change it for the world. And I just also love how I can dress up and things like that. But so that's what I said. That's my like little summary about pharmacy. But during my training year, I always like even back in high school, I always knew like I wanted to do something with like cosmetics as well, like skincare. Like I'm a girly girl. Like I love makeup, skincare, beauty. So I was like, how can I integrate that with my pharmacy degree? So during my training year, I actually did apply for online postgraduate course in dermatology and clinical practice. I don't know how I got the energy and strength to do this because my training year was crazy. Just for a little bit of background, to become a pharmacist in the UK, you go to uni for 4 years, you get your master's with that. It's an integrated 4-year program. And then once you graduate, you do a foundation year, which is like a 1-year internship in a practical setting, like hospital, industry, or community, like I done. And after that 1 year, at the end of it, you set your board exam with the GPHC. So during that 1 year, I was also studying for my board exam, but also doing a postgraduate degree online. So
Wow.
I suffered from 2023 to 2024. I suffered, but God willing, we're here. So yeah, I'm just trying to find opportunities I can mix like dermatology and pharmacy because ultimately my end goal is to have my own business, open my own clinic, things like that. So watch the space. I literally just qualified, so very early days, but yeah, that's my end goal of everything, my career right now. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. I love your pharmacy origin story. Funnily enough,
Mhm.
mine is somewhat similar in terms of like it basically for context, both of my parents are also medical professionals. My mom's a doctor, my dad's a
Mhm.
dentist. And anytime I say this to people, and this is like regardless of the context, so whether or not it's, one Nigerian uncle or auntie, somebody I meet, like let's say at a conference or something in terms of a networking event. Whenever people hear me say this, a lot of the time they'll be like, "Oh, and you didn't do medicine." And
Of
then
course. Yep.
it just kind of gives me flashbacks to all the times that I considered pursuing medicine because
Yep.
I was
Canon
good at.
event for every. I feel like sorry to interrupt. I feel like that's such a canon event for every like, especially oldest daughter in a Nigerian household. But yeah, continue.
Thank you, thank you. It's almost like a compulsory checklist, literally. And
Yes.
so
Yes.
in school, I was good at, biology, chemistry, physics, like I was good at those STEM subjects. I also really enjoyed them as well. But
Mhm.
see, the thing is that in order to be a doctor, the way I see it is this is coming from the daughter of a doctor, not a doctor or somebody that did medical school. So fair enough, the medics can come for me and say like actually everything I just said is not true. But based on my humble opinion, I feel like in order to, pursue medicine, in order to be successful, you need three main things. And that's obviously one, the aptitude and the interest and being good at those relevant subjects and, being interested in it. Number two, being a hardworking person because medicine is a tough degree. There's a lot to study, there's a lot to sort of manage. And then, when it comes to dealing with patients, etc. And then the third thing is also a lot of medics that I've come across, whether it was people in school that I met that wanted to do medicine, whether it's doctors, people that are fully qualified, across the board, a lot of them, when you ask them why they do what they do, they say that they want to help people. And that's a
Mhm.
very beautiful and sweet and rewarding intention. And I will be completely frank and honest. I did
Mhm.
not have that. Like, I did not think to myself, like, if this makes sense, 110%, I also want to have a positive impact on society, on community, and I want to help people, but not in the same way that doctors do. Like doctors are like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to help people, I want to save lives. Me, I
Yeah.
don't like people enough to be all up in the health
Good.
business to try
That's
and
so
solve those
fair.
problems. The
That's so
kind of
fair.
things that your doctor needs to know about you, I don't want to know. Like
That's
I'm
so
quite
good.
squeamish. That's the other
Mhm.
thing. So I knew that I wouldn't I would be very put off by certain things that I'd have to learn, that I'd have to be exposed to. So I was like, let me not put myself through that stress, and let me find my own way to save the world, right? So it was stuff like that.
That's so
But yeah, kind of fast forward
interesting.
when I realized that okay, medicine is not for me, and I ended up studying computer science for a ton of reasons that I'll probably go into more detail on another note. But yeah, I just thought it was quite interesting how we both considered medicine, but you still have gone into a sort of medical type field and how that's panned
You
out
know
and
what? I
everything.
think that's such a big factor though, because like ultimately that's the whole career, like helping people. And if that's something you didn't really love that much doing, then it makes so much sense. Because for me, I love that aspect about medicine and pharmacy. That's why it just made sense for me to do pharmacy, because pharmacy has a lot of that as well, helping people. But the biggest thing that turned me off from medicine is just because also my dad's a doctor. How much like your career defines you, I feel like in that field. Don't like I'm
Mm.
also like you said, I'm not I'm not a doctor, I'm just a daughter of a doctor, but like my dad, like I'm so grateful for all the opportunities he gave us, but he was always like working. He's obviously working to support us, but I just saw that,
Mm.
and I also want to have like a good balance. Like, don't get me wrong, he has a great balance now, but that takes a long while to get to that stage. Like, you really have to hustle and be passionate and proper study. That's what I'm telling you. Like, don't get me wrong, I have a master's in pharmacy and I also have a postgrad in dermatology. I study, but I can't kill myself with a studying. Like, not like that. Not like that.
No,
Like, it's too
girl.
much. So that's what really turned me off with medicine. But I love how I love the practical side of everything. And that's ultimately why I chose pharmacy because, you know, altogether it takes 5 years and then you're a pharmacist in the UK. For medicine, yes, after you graduate uni, you are a doctor, but you have your foundation year to do, which is 2 years, and then you have however long you need to do to specialize. And I can't. I literally can't. And then I think they also have like, I'm not too sure to be honest, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure they have exams they have to take every few years just to stay on top of their knowledge and things like that. But for us, once you qualify on the register as a pharmacist, that's you. You don't have to take another exam.
No, girl, you're actually so funny. Like you keep you keep saying that me, I don't like to study or I see all the study where you do. Like
I'm dead.
honestly, you've got to give yourself some credit. Like you're saying that I'm cool, you're cool. Like you are
Oh,
super cool, girl.
but I don't know, but yeah, that's why. And yeah, and I feel like me as a pharmacist, I don't think that defines my whole. I'm much more than just a pharmacist. And I love how there's so much diversity in pharmacy. There's so many people not even working as a pharmacist and they're just using their degrees for other fields. And yeah, I just love the flexibility of my career and I can't wait to see what I do with it, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've never really thought of pharmacy in that way because,
Mhm.
okay, I remember now. Because at first I was thinking I hadn't really come across many pharmacists apart from basically you're one of the few pharmacists I know personally. And I realized that's
Really?
because, like you said, pharmacy's only taught at two unis in Scotland. So
Yeah,
there were no pharmacy students that I would have come across at uni. So yeah, I realized that's
mhm.
partially why
It's
I don't know
true.
much about that, like, yeah, that
Yeah.
degree, that field. So it is interesting learning about it through you. Because even though, like, I do know other people that are in pharmacy, but not on the same level that I know you. So it is interesting just getting that insight into the field and stuff.
It's so under like I feel like what's the word I'm looking for? There's literally I feel like there's not enough awareness of pharmacists and pharmacy and what we do. Like a lot of people have these expectations and I'm just like that's actually not how it works. For example, like someone will come in, maybe we open at 9 a.m. Okay, someone will come in bang on 9 and say, oh, my prescription, I need to get a prescription. My doctor said it will be ready. And I'm like, okay, just give us a few minutes. We just opened. And they'll be like, oh no, it should be ready. My doctor said it'll be ready. I'm like, your doctor actually doesn't even work here, so how would they know when it's ready? Like, like,
No, I love
and
that.
why are they blaming us? Like, if it's not ready and your doctor said it'll be ready, you should go and complain to your doctor. Like, but things like that, like there's systems, like a lot of people come in and say like, why do I have to wait 10 minutes? You're literally just sticking a label onto a bag. Like, no, that's not what we're doing. Like, it's taking 10
Wow.
minutes because I have to actually check the prescription that's legal, it's valid, it's from who's actually said that it's right in it, like it's from a proper prescriber. And you need to check like there's no interactions with all the medicines that you're currently taking, that what they're prescribing makes sense, it's not gonna kill you. Like there's so much is going on. And like
No, I
while I'm
love
doing
that.
that, there's probably someone wanting to talk to me for a consultation. The phone is ringing, like we're short staffed, we don't have stock. Like there's a lot going on. But I feel like there's not a lot of awareness of what we do. And this is another thing. I don't know if I want to say out loud because I know I'll speak it to existence. This is another thing like one of my projects I really want to work on. I don't think I've told you this before, but like just growing up watching all these medical dramas, like there's so many shows about being a doctor. So I kind of want to make my own about being a pharmacist, and I'm looking in like writing things, but yeah, that's just been a long process. Like ever since I started in uni, that's why I wanted to like do like make my own kind of drama because there's so much drama, mom and that, in pharmacy world. Like there's so much drama. Like it would make such a good show, and I feel like it would spread that awareness that people like would know. Like I feel like there's a lot of common knowledge when it comes to doctors and medicines because of all these shows. So I feel like that would really help the general public. But saying that, someone actually bet me to it. It's actually a little show on Channel 4, but it's just like a short film thing on YouTube.
Wait, are you
Called-
referencing? Are you referencing Ola Labib's?
Yes,
I literally just watched that yesterday and it was hilarious
it's
because that
so
was what I had in
good.
mind when you were mentioning all the drama that you've experienced as a
Yeah,
pharmacist. Even before you told me, let's talk about it, let's speak it into existence. Inshallah, that's something that you can achieve because I'm
yeah,
realizing, especially in my own career path and journey now, the importance and the significance of storytelling, being
mhm,
able to showcase different people's lives and experiences through different forms of media, whether it's, TV, whether it's literature, etc. Being able to share that with the world can really help shape people's perspectives and worldviews. Because, like you said,
100%.
until I had come across that show, and even until you mentioned it again now, I realized that, yeah, there's tons of medical dramas that people are aware of. And even though, okay, yes, a lot of the stuff could be easily dramatized and,
Yeah.
not be accurate, there is that general awareness of like, oh, being a doctor is very stressful. They do,
Yeah.
X, Y, Z, da 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 da.
Hmm.
But there's none of that sort of understanding or awareness in the general public when it comes to pharmacy and other sort
100%.
of similar
Yeah.
professions. So yeah, I think it's
100%.
totally worthwhile.
100%. I would say I don't blame the public because like really and truly like that was me when I was applying to uni. Like I thought like oh pharmacy is soft life, they just hand out the medicines, it's already made up. Yeah, like I don't blame them. Like they don't really see a lot of what goes on behind the scenes. But yeah, that would be a really interesting goal because I've always been interested in film media. Like I had like my YouTube channel stuff. I tried to do some content creation. So I just love how I can mix that with my career as well. Like yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, I think with that, I will bring this episode to a close. Again, I'm still working on how to actually resolve resolve these
Yeah.
episodes in a more natural, smooth way. But for now, I'm just literally gonna say, you know how like directors will go and cut. Yeah, that's the kind
Okay.
of energy that we're coming in with.
No, not only that, you can't just end it like that. I didn't even say like bye or anything or
No,
like
no, I'm
advice or
kidding. I'm kidding.
something.
I just wanted to say again, thank you for coming onto the podcast and sharing your story with everyone. Thank you to my listeners for tuning in. Do you have any closing remarks before we sign out?
Closing remark about like anything in particular or like career, whatever.
Literally anything, whatever is in your heart right now.
First of all, thank you. It's been a pleasure to be on the podcast. I really appreciate it. This is something I've never really done before. So I'm really excited to see where this takes you. And I know it'll be blessings upon blessings. And I guess I just want to say don't ever feel like put in a box, especially as a person of color, especially as a Black woman. Like I feel like people already make up their minds of who we should be and how we should act. Don't ever feel like you should be in one box. Like you can do it all basically, or you can change your mind. And yeah.
Honestly, I think that is a great piece of advice to end on. Thank you again, and thank you to my lovely audience. And this is it.
Thank you. Bye.
And that is a wrap for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to follow, like, download, subscribe, and rate the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whichever streaming platform you're listening to this on. And you can also find Sister Station on Instagram and LinkedIn at Sister Station Podcast. And you can also find me on LinkedIn and Instagram at Nina's Musing. And thanks again for tuning into this episode. I hope that you come back for more. And until then, Assalamu alaikum. wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.